beauty of discernment. Hey guys, listen, for whoever hears this word, this message under the sound of my voice, I'm going to say a quick prayer and I'll be right back. Okay, listen. Discerning, being still, hearing, knowing when you hear the sound of the Most High's voice, or He's telling you, He's giving you divine instruction. It's all a part of discerning. Knowing when the Holy Spirit is present, letting the Holy Spirit lead and guide. Listen, there is not a human on earth that has ever not gotten to a point of thinking sinister thoughts. Everyone on earth experiences some level of anger, disappointment, sadness, happiness, joy, elation. There's not a human on earth that doesn't experience one or the other, because it's something that is given to us when we're brought into this world through the vaginal canal and taken out of this world through dust. The depth of the reality in which people can recognize what discernment is life-changing, because there have been things done to me in my life where if I would have reacted, it would have been life-changing. Even with words. My best interest would have been compromised if discernment wasn't used. I'm gonna you guys remind me. The title, something discernment. This video is definitely, but I think it is remarkable how when you're well seasoned spiritually, religiously, emotionally, etc., etc., your discernment is listen, God is telling me to say this exact thing. Don't laugh. When you are well seasoned, your discernment is like a kickstand. You know what I mean? Like, imagine a Hayabusa. You know what I mean? Like, fully loaded. Listen, sitting pretty, kickstand. Discernment is like you can be on go. You can easily be on go, luxuriously. But, and this is off, for my bike riders, whatever. But you can be on go luxuriously, but at the end of the day, guess what? Your discernment, when people, this is what's wrong with the world today, is that the masses don't exercise their discernment. You don't get goosebumps, chills, except you don't get all these sensations for no reason. They're there for a reason, and this is why society is really messed up. I can't even, like, okay, let me give you an example, a real life example. Almost less than 2-3 hours ago, I had a phone call came through, and this individual, told me to hold. So I did. And this person went off and started having a conversation with someone else where they were, um, in the midst of them telling me to hold on. Literally, the first 3 minutes of the conversation, I realized that this person intended to put me on hold and intended to hold a conversation with someone else and intended for me to hear what he had, what he was conversing about. I knew that everything that he was doing was intentional, so he wanted me to hold on, he wanted me to listen, he wanted me to hear him. That's what I sat there and did. By the time he was finished conversing with this person on the opposite side of the phone who was actually standing physically in front of him, and he realized that, not realized, but he, realized that I was still sitting there listening, but, and he hung up. He thought to himself, wow, I'm sure when he hung up, he thought to himself, wow, she sat there and listened to this entire conversation. Now, whether or not he, plotted a quick plot to figure out how he can clean it up or not, or um, even that at precise moment when he hung up was well planned out. I decided to just let the situation play out how it was going to play out. I knew he was going to call back. Didn't think it was going to be that soon, but he did. He called back 5 minutes later. Then he proceeded to insult me because I sat there and listened. Although he told me to hold, and I did. But the things that here's the thing that's crazy to me is whether or not he intended for it to happen this way or not. He definitely, I think he was much more taken back that I didn't react to the things that were said and the things that I heard. Why would I? I've already assumed them about you. I've already discerned these things about you. So you're only validating what I've already known. But what made in my discernment of me not reacting, even when he called back and I didn't respond, when we were conversing then. Um, the I would say the magnificent part about it all was that he literally tried to blame me for something he told me to do or he had asked me to do. Hold, I did. And then, said something really derogatory to me. And, I politely said, never contact me again, which is, I'm sure, what he intended, because whatever he's dealing with, he's trying to save face. So, whatever the things that he said to me, I will say this. You could tell that you know when someone's on thin ice with someone else. So it was kind of like, how can I plot this and not make it look like it's something, but it's not something, that so I could always have this way to if I need to, I could just fix it this. No, everything that was done, I used my discernment. Every play was seen, right? So I say this about discernment. With the things that I heard in the conversation, I said, all right, why would I react? I already know what the intent is. You know what I mean? For me to say, oh, don't contact me anymore, this, any other. So that later on down the line, this person can say, oh, well, you said X, Y, Z. Yeah, and I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to stand on it. All right? But my discernment from the words that he had spoken to me and realizing that I had heard the conversation, like, if I was a weak soul, if I was a weak vessel, I had, and while all this was happening, one of my girlfriends, prayer warrior, she's an evangelist, she's a speaker, she had, her name is Santana, she had inboxed me because I had a dream about her. So she inboxed me and had said, how she was grateful for, you know, the word that God had, pressed, well, blessed me with for her to give to her for her to receive. So I was being hit twice was God hit me at the same damn time. Like I can't make it up. God hit me two ways at the same damn time. One from somebody I had already been blessing for the last 4 days. God told me that, you know, I had a dream. You know what I mean? That this young woman had was gifted a house, and her grandkids were in this house. I had a dream, yeah, and in that moment, over the last couple of days, me and her been going back and forth, and she was just saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And don't thank me, thank the Most High, but I'm glad you are receiving. But when she had inboxed me tonight, and at the same time, this other person was, trying to. I don't even want to give him the props, one up on me or whatever it was. He said some really, really derogatory stuff about, you know, basically, wow, you caught red-handed. You can't even get out of it because now you know I know. You know what I mean? Like you, I heard it out of the horse's mouth. It came out of your mouth. I heard you say it. So you know what I mean. And the crazy thing is that when he said what he said out of anger because basically he told on himself and I heard it. um, when he said what he said to me, I could have really, really, really. As a matter of fact, I'm not even. I admit, I listen. Confess before the Most High on record right now. Yeah, I said in my heart, and I thought in my spirit some really horrible things when he had said to me. It was almost like, what is the worst possible? What this man has just said some shit to me that just made me made me feel. But then it's like he bent me backwards, right? And then stood me. And then when I thought about it, my revenge, the thought of how I can get revenge stood me up. But then when I thought about that thought of revenge, God bent me over, put me on my knees. It was almost like it was an immediate exorcist because what he had said to me was, it wasn't so much that I didn't expect what he said, how he said it. It was just I just didn't expect it from him. So God transformed me instantly, but in the midst of that, I had to, I had to cuff. I had to cuff discernment, and that was the hardest part. That was the hardest part. My discernment, put me on my knees before the Most High because I never, and then what's crazy is after my moment of discernment and being, brought to my knees spiritually, emotionally in a split second, I never in my life felt like I haven't, like I feel like I achieved the utmost respect from the Most High the way I handled that situation in the moment. Because God was sending me a blessing. God was sending me like confirmation that your words are manifesting. Your words are blessing other people in the midst of this person trying to tear you down. It's so crazy how God did that in the same very second. I had told this woman I had a dream about her, and she was gifted a house, more than 4 or 5 bedrooms, a huge house. Yeah, she had to put work into it, but she was gifted it, and she was thanking me in the midst of this other person telling me because they got caught in the storm and didn't expect. They told on themselves. You know what I mean? And then when that person realized that, yeah, you told on yourself, you try to diminish me, you try to diminish my character because you basically finessed yourself. You know what I mean? Trying to be, you're having a conversation with somebody on the other side of the phone. You know what I mean? With a man, you know what I mean? Trying to flex and be this whole, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and me and my this and this, and that, we doing this and da da da. Whole time I'm listening. And whether or not that person wanted me to listen intentionally or not, either way, the words that were spoken to me after the fact moved 1,000 mountains. I'm gonna tell you one thing. My discernment, Most High kept me from reacting, and that shit was the most powerful I have ever experienced in my life, because in that moment, when you're caught off guard by someone you would never think that would do you a certain way, does you a certain way, and you catch it firsthand, you can't deny it, it's irrefutable. It's like it's I ain't even gonna lie, it's magical. But what's even more magical is when you can catch yourself from not reacting, right? And you can sit back and watch and let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something about being bullied. I was bullied pretty much my entire life, but one particular time, I was born in a community where when I was coming up damn near 30 years ago, uh, you walk home from school and the kids, every year, the last day of school, walking home, everyone would pick who would be the one that would get jumped, beat up, whatever. I was that kid one year. And I'll never forget, the biggest female bully of all big female bullies came and punched me in the side of the head, just like snuffed me. You know what? And when it happened, I didn't think. Well, when it happened, looking back on hindsight, I had no business walking home from school in that direction, because that wasn't the direction in which I lived. So I kind of deserved to be snuffed. But when you're a kid, you know what I mean. You don't expect to be snuffed. But anyway, the same girl she punched me. She came and snuffed me out of nowhere. She hit me with a left hook. She hit me with the lefty. Wait, was it a left? Left. Wasn't it a left? No, it was actually, she hit me on the right. Um, I was so when it happened, I was offended. I was hurt, because it was like, what did I do to deserve that? Well, unfortunately, kids are kids, and back then, you didn't deserve anything to do that. You didn't do anything to deserve that, I should say. It happened. So I was that kid that year. Crazy thing is 10 years later, the same girl, her baby father shot her on the same side of the head, the same spot she snuffed me on. And she left behind children. When I speak about discernment and what the things people do to me, I try not to get angry, because it's almost like my anger wakes God up. And it's almost like it wakes him up to say, oh, somebody in the mess with my baby. And I don't like that. It's not that I don't like that. It's just that people don't know what they do. So when I speak on discernment, and when discernment is necessary, and you know your power and you know who you are to the Most High, it's all it's almost like discernment, knowing if knowing who you are to the Most High, etc., etc. These things um, come with fine print, because I quickly emotionally react. I'm not even gonna lie. God ain't gonna catch me out there on Judgment Day. I know what my thoughts. You know what I mean? So like when he's said what he said, it's just like, oh wow. The thought was instant. My retaliatory thought was instant with how he was speaking to me. That scared me because it went from 0 to 1,000 real quick. And the humbling part about it was the discerning. God said, I'm going to need you to repent for that thought. I'm going to need you to leave it in my hands. And then that's when, again, I reiterate, me being bullied. The woman, snuffed me on the right hand, on the left side of my face. And 10 years later, her baby father putting the bullet straight through her head on the same side of her head. I don't wish that on nobody. I really don't. But I know my power. I know. And that's not the... Listen, me being a mortgage broker, the person that should not have been my mentor, but I'm very grateful for being my mentor, stole a deal from me. Well, it was maybe a $8,000 commission. But this woman, when she stole the deal from me, about 10 years later, she got indicted and did 10 years in jail. So it's like clockwork. Anything that anybody does to me, and this is why it's just like God said, you know what, get them nasty thoughts out of your head, because I'm going to handle the situation, and that's how discernment kicks in for me with the Most High. Because it's quite often that when people try to come for me, yeah, I get really angry. But then God yanks me so fast, so quick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get in trouble by my own thoughts and ideas of what punishment or retaliation should be, when the perfection of the Most High's retaliation, do unto others as you want others to do unto you, is so top tier. Like, why would I played myself for thinking those thoughts. Like, God, I'm going to say this on record. Most High, forgive me. I have no business. I had no business thinking those thoughts. And yes, I'm human. I'm not even gonna lie. Because when you feel like somebody's coming for you for real, and you, it's just like you don't deserve it. It's just like, okay, bro, you gonna have to, like, now, you're saying some things that you need to. I'm gonna help you understand. You know what I mean? How you trying to make me, not making me feel, how you trying to make me feel. But the Most High, God is saying, nah, don't do it. Don't even think those thoughts. Because my plan is so far greater. Woo. My. The power of discernment. I'm going to leave it right there.